I would just like to start off by thanking the Spanos family, Joe Ortiz and Coach Harbaugh for believing me and giving me this opportunity. I'd also like to thank my two parents here today. Couldn't be here without them. They've blessed me with a lot of opportunities, and I want to thank God for the opportunity and the body and the ability He's blessed me with to be here today.
Questions?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Jim Hill with the KCAL 9 News. First of all, congratulations and welcome. What were your first thoughts when you found out that you were going to be in charge?
Yeah, I think there's two thoughts that popped in my head immediately. The first one being gratitude, like I just said, grateful to the people around me, grateful to this organization and believing in me and this opportunity. And the second one is just straight excitement. Can't wait to get out here, get to work, and go back to what I'm doing and what I love doing, and that's playing football.
Joe, can you sort of take us through the last, whatever it's been, 14 hours since you got drafted, just what you've done, and then coming here today and just walking into the building?
Yeah, obviously got the call, super excited, spent the time with my family briefly there, got to, hug everybody, appreciate everyone who was there, then, hopped on a couple interviews, got my flight set up, hung out with my family, my girlfriend, went back to my house, went to bed about midnight, woke up this morning, hopped on a plane at 7:30, flew out here, got to come to the facility and just been, meeting everybody and going from there.
Last night you said something about playing quarterback and tight end. Can you expand a little bit about how much you learned from those experiences, and when did you stop and become an alignment?
So I grew up playing quarterback all the way till my sophomore year of high school. And for me, the biggest thing there was just learning an entire defense and how it works, understanding safeties, the rotation, how it affects a defense, and how you can read a safety and see how that can give you a pressure look. And I ended up starting playing tight end when I grew in my junior year of high school, and then transitioned to offensive line when I got to Notre Dame as a freshman.
Did playing quarterback help with your footwork?
Yeah. Yeah, I think all that. Playing quarterback, playing basketball, all that stuff did. I think that's a testament to my athleticism now from those things, because I was able to kind of stay light on my feet as I grew.
What kind of a quarterback were you?
I was a bigger quarterback. Let's be real. I ran the ball up most of the time. I had a decent arm, but it was mostly just running the ball and getting some sweeps out there. He was the one getting me out there on the ball, so we did it. Made it work. Yeah.
Emergency QB maybe?
I don't know about that. I haven't thrown a football in a long time. I've been putting my hand in the dirt instead, so I don't know. We'll have to see.
You mentioned to us yesterday that through the pre-draft process you're working on right tackle and that sort of transition. Who were you working with specifically, and what was that process like for you as far as, obviously you said you did a little bit as a freshman, but just that process of trying to mirror it to the right side?
Yeah, so I've been working with Alex Boone up in Training House in Minnesota. That's where I've done my combine prep, and the biggest thing for me is just getting comfortable, being able to set both on my left and right hand stance, being just as comfortable as I was at the left at the right hand side. So did a lot of drills, pass pro, run blocking, just to make sure I was comfortable there, and I thought we put a lot of good work in from then.
Notre Dame, you played a lot of tackle over, unbalanced line stuff. Do you think that would help in your if you would move over to the right side?
Yeah, of course. I think just having that in-game experience, those live reps is always a huge help. Just being comfortable, getting over there and putting your hand on that stance in game is huge for my confidence going forward.
I'd like you to talk about not only football, but with the Chargers and stuff, but football in your family, because it goes back to generations.
Yeah, my dad played for 13 years for the Chiefs, and football is all I can remember growing up, walking into the basement. My dad's jersey was hung up at the bottom of the steps, and it was a dream for me my entire life. My dad coached me from youth through high school. He was there. He allowed me to really learn what football was and the appreciation for the game and what it did for me and my family. So football has always been, kind of the top of the totem pole in the family and what we wanted to do, and that's why I fell in love with it and been going with it ever since.
So did you, I know you're asking this with your brother, did you play hockey?
I did until second grade, but I did not have the body for hockey. I got a little heavy for it, so we just decided to hang up the skates and start playing basketball. Yep.
How much of your dad's tapes did you watch growing up?
Yeah.
Through high school, trying to learn technique and everything?
Yeah, we didn't watch a ton of tape of his VCRs in high school. We kind of stayed away from that. But most recently, a lot of his games have come back out on YouTube in better quality, and we rewatched them when I was home this training process, and got to give him a little bit of crap and watch his film and assess the differences in our games. So yeah.
What are the differences?
My dad still has very, very broad shoulders. He has the biggest shoulders I've ever seen on a man. So his ability to clamp guys, go like this to defensive ends, is one of the most humbling things I think for a defensive end. It's just out muscled up top. So I think that's the biggest difference. I'm more of a, I like to punch inside because I don't have as big of shoulders as he did. But I think that's the biggest difference between me and him.
As you transitioned into offensive line over the last 3 years, are there guys in the league that you watched to try and learn from?
Yeah, I watch a lot of Joe Thomas. I watch a lot of how he sets. He has a lot of change-ups in his set between jump setting and vertical setting, and how he throws the differences in there. And then I listen to a lot of Lane Johnson and stuff on the snap count, and how crucial that is to win the first, second, and being ahead of the punch and ahead of a defense, being able to get off the ball early.
We've heard a lot from Jim Harbaugh about how he wants to build this team through the trenches. Obviously, that's reinforced with your pick. What do you like about playing O-line, and maybe like the tone you can set up front?
Yeah, I think the thing I love about the offensive line is being able to hit somebody every single play. I mean, you don't have a playoff. You're going to be throwing your head in there, if it's pass or run. You got a job to do, and you have to hold up your bargain, one of the 5, one of the 11. And, if you don't do your job, it's going to hurt the offensive line, hurt the entire offense. So I think that's why I love it. And, it's kind of why I fell in love with the position, and just really the camaraderie of the group. The offensive line group, I think, is a special group. So, yeah.
So one of your favorite words is probably dominate.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something that I've, it's not a word I use in my vocabulary, but it's a mindset that I have, I would say, more so. I just, refusing to lose and taking it one play at a time and trying to, do your best each and every play is kind of my mindset.
Have you heard from any, spoken of camaraderie in the line room? Have you heard from any of those guys?
Yeah. A lot of guys have reached out to me so far. Rashawn Slater reached out last night, so that was really exciting just to kind of hear from him and, begin to build these next relationships is really what I'm looking forward to.
Joe, when you were practicing that switch to the right side, how drastic of a change is it in your mind?
Yeah, I don't think it's a very drastic change for me just because I played tight end in high school, so I had the ability to do everything out of a left and right hand stance. I've been playing tackle at the left side for the last 3 years, but it wasn't like it's something I'd never done before. So I've had reps there before, so it wasn't something that was a huge change for me.
Joe, I know that a couple of the Charger coaches, the new coaches, were at Notre Dame. Is there any other players here you know well, or anybody?
I don't know any of the, there's one Notre Dame player who was from Notre Dame, but he was gone before I got there, so I don't have a relationship with him yet, but I'm looking forward to making one.
Nobody else in that locker room? And then what about Coach Harbaugh? Had you met him before the draft process at all?
I had not actually. I met him for the first time at the combine. I wasn't the biggest recruit coming out of college, so I didn't get the opportunity to go to Michigan. Yeah, Michigan did have an interest in me. I didn't coming out of college, but that's just who I was. I was a tight end turned to tackle, and my body how it was going.
Minnesota was the only Big Ten team that basically recruited you?
I was well, but yeah, those are kind of the 2 only Big Ten schools.
As far as you as a run blocker and your athleticism, a lot of times you're pulling all the way across the formation. Just what is your approach to using your athleticism in those specific situations where you're pulling and then being able to control your body in space on those types of blocks?
Yeah, last year we did a lot of pulling, and it was probably when I heard that one of those plays called, it was the most fun because you get to kind of show your athletic ability, but also have so much more speed rolling behind you to hit somebody. You kind of have a bigger impact. So, I know it takes a lot of, I think, eye discipline when you're pulling with guys who can be faster than you and understanding where your landmark is and where you're trying to hit, and if you miss, you got to miss in a certain area. You don't want to miss short or too far because that's going to get your running back hit. So I think understanding your aiming point's huge, and then just kind of being able to use your momentum already and go hit the guy as hard as you can. So
when implementing that last year, was that a function of just the fact that you had that athleticism to be able to get to those spaces?
Yeah, I think it was partially that, and also we had a new offensive line coach who had done a lot of that in the past. So he kind of said okay, we have the guys to do it, so let's go try to do it. So I think that was kind of the biggest. Those 2 things were the biggest changes from the year before.
I think you have one of the top 40 times for an offensive lineman in a while at the combine. How do you think your speed is able to help you?
Yeah, I think speed is one of the things. My athleticism is one of the things that I hold close to myself and want to keep at the top. I think that's one of the things that allows me to play offensive tackle at a high level. Being able to stay in front of guys with my length is what I strive to do each and every day. So it's something that I work on constantly, jumping rope, doing little agility drills, just because I know that's I think what's gotten me this far.
I see the offensive coaching staff here. Have you had a chance to meet individually with the offensive line coaches, and what have those interactions kind of been like today?
Yeah, I did. I got to meet with them today. Just kind of like the welcome, and at the end of the day, we're back to work. We're back to playing football, so we got to start to learn what's going forward and what's being asked of me, and that's what we've been kind of discussing so far.
Notre Dame's a pretty storied program, but your first top 5 pick in over 30 years, and I think as far as linemen, the highest in over 50.
Yeah.
Just how much of a point of pride is that, especially considering you
Yeah.
were lightly recruited coming out?
Yeah, no, obviously extremely grateful for that opportunity to be in that position. There's a lot of great people at Notre Dame who have allowed me to come this far. I was able to have 2 great head coaches, 3 great offensive line coaches, and 2 great offensive coordinators who I think allowed me to excel, taught me a lot, and allowed me to kind of go put my best foot forward. So, you know, at the end of the day, I'm extremely grateful for those coaches and people who allowed me to grow at Notre Dame and be able to have this opportunity become a reality.
Did Tommy reach out to you?
He did. Yep.
So is it exciting to come to a team where it seems like everyone here on staff, in front office is like praised the lineman and call it O-line centric, superstar in the O-line? Is that exciting to be in a place like that?
Of course, you know, being wanted is one of the best feelings in the world. Being at a position that, you know, the coaches and people feel matters, it just makes you want to do it that much more and want to do it for them because they care so much about it. So now it's my job to go get back to work and go put my best foot forward, and do the best I can for whatever this team asks of me. Yep. Appreciate it. You like that? Thanks, Mom.